People nowadays prefer private transportations over public transportations, claiming it is safer, much easier, and faster to travel. But what do these railway tracks in Nigeria, the highways in the Himalayas, and the sea harbors in Sri Lanka all have in common? Whether it's true or not, they are all part of the same mega design plan of China's new Silk Road. This vast mega project contains 2,600 independent plans in over 100 countries, which could cost $4 trillion and influences 69% of the world's population. Potentially, it would be the grandest and the most extravagant mega project in human history. China also claims that it will help boost global trading, yet as we unveil, China might be up to something completely opposite to what they said. On September 17, 2013, President Xi Jinping was seen in Astana in Kazakhstan. What seemed like a plain sailing visit from the Chinese president happens to be a turning point in history. President Xi Jinping unwrapped the biggest mega project of the millennium, which later became known as the One Belt, One Road. During his talks in the Kazakh capital, he mentioned to the Chinese traders who traveled through this very country centuries ago to exchange silk with the rest of the world. They would journey along an ancient Silk Road in which it was a merged network of pathways connecting Asia with Europe. The said ancient Silk Road started in Xi'an in China and ended in Rotterdam in the Netherlands for years. It was the longest trade route in the world, but as time passed, it was replaced by maritime travel. Now President Xi Jinping wants to restore it back as he envisions a Silk Road of the future in which China acts as a key role. Whereas this statement caused surges through the whole world, everyone knew that China wanted to become the world's largest economy. But now, they aren't playing. Just a month later, Xi Jinping even upped the ante on October 4, 2013, in which President Xi Jinping was now in Jakarta, Indonesia. It was where he announced that he was not only rehabilitating the ancient Silk Road, but as well as the maritime Silk Road that replaced it. Immediately, a project which seemingly only concerned Central Asia now entailed Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent, the Middle East, and Africa. The total size and scale was something the globe had never seen before. Xi Jinping's announcements were met with cheering all over the Silk Road countries, yet with doubts across the West. China was building and remodeling roads, railways, ports, airports, power plants, and many more, but for what cause? The official line from China is that building these transport routes would boost international trade and benefit the global economy, yet a lot of Western countries are having second thoughts regarding this. But what are China's actual intentions? As we look closer at these two examples, it will help us to understand this case with Pakistan, in which it clearly illustrates the risk that is involved with accepting Chinese investment. Pakistan is in need to develop its transport infrastructure as this country is still utilizing a 150-year-old rail network that demands replacing. Many of their pathways are battered and pose a significant danger to those who use and pass through, in which this is where the One Belt, One Road initiative is incredibly advantageous to Pakistan. The country itself is situated between China and the Arabian Sea, therefore it's in China's interest to invest in Pakistan and unlatch a brand new trading path. So when Xi Jinping visited Pakistan in the year of 2015, he declared an initial $46 billion investment, hoping to connect Xinjiang in the West China with the southern seaside area of Gwadar in Pakistan. Central to this investment is a major railway project which consists of 4 railway lines across Pakistan, including upgrading the current infrastructure and doubling its length, but with every investment there is a risk. And this railway mega project currently faces a lot of issues. The project itself has been severely delayed due to the design faults and lack of capacity. Yet even worse, the current economic situation in Pakistan has alarmed and raised uncertainty about their ability to pay back the money to China. As the project is already 4 years behind schedule and that Pakistan is a country who faces vast economic crisis that currently owes China over $6 billion, for Pakistan, this looks like a very unfortunate set of circumstances. But many critics of the project believe that the huge debts racked up by Pakistan were not unfortunate, but deliberate. Many contend China intentionally wanted Pakistan to undergo debt to strengthen their power over the country, as this is exactly what China did in Sri Lanka in the past. As part of One Belt, One Road, China also funded Sri Lanka's second biggest port, Hambantota. China has been supplying loans for this port as far as the year of 2008, but by 2016, the port had been incurring losses while still having to pay back $1.5 billion in loans to China. The Sri Lankan government has decided to privatize the port and give 100-year ownership to the company possessed by the Chinese government. Oh, sneaky, right? But before you forget, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Coming back, it's essentially now held by China, and the US Department of Defense is worried that China could even set up a naval base there. For this reason, many critics have cited to the One Belt, One Road as a debt trap diplomacy, where they exercise power over countries through racking up debts. Sri Lanka and Pakistan serve as a cautionary tale for countries that take part, but why do these countries even take risks and loan from China instead of Western countries? Well, the reason why these countries take out loans with China is because there are allegedly no strings attached. Normally, when a country tries to get a loan from Western countries, they will loan the money on the condition that the country commits to social or democratic reforms. China, meanwhile, provides judgment-free loans, but the real power that the country gains is not in ports, railway systems, and highways, but on the voting floor of the United Nations. China can use its investment in megaprojects to win friends and influence countries through these major investments. Countries that would not normally take their side in the UN can suddenly become their closest allies. In the United Nations General Assembly, each country gets to only cast one vote, and this does not matter how large the country is. The USA gets one vote while Vatican City gets one vote too. So this is a situation where China needs other countries on its side in hopes that they will vote in their favor. In 2020, the Human Rights Council in Geneva held a vote on China's harsh national security law in Hong Kong. The UN then realized that 25 African countries actually backed China on this matter, in which later that year, a rebuke was signed by Western nations on China's human rights violations and that no trace of signatures from the African countries could be found. As time went by, One Belt, One Road no longer resembled the original trade routes but became a catch-all term for Chinese foreign investment. Moreover, in 2021, things got even more bizarre as President Xi proposed a new Silk Road, the Arctic Silk Road. The melting ice caps mean that new shipping routes are becoming open and available on this continent, and that there's an abundance of unexplored oil and gas in this area. Whereas this is another great and highly interesting project on its own, but nonetheless, 9 years on from that historic announcement in Kazakhstan, China has finally come across some competition. In July 2022, the G7 states its partnership for global infrastructure, which is a $600 billion investment into development projects in poorer countries. The tensions between China and the US during the 21st century have often been referred to as the Second Cold War, as it looks like this time around, the battlefield will be on financing projects and winning friends across the world. Though the sad irony is that the Silk Road's initial aim is to bring the East and West closer together, has possibly made them drift even further apart with these issues. So what do you think about One Belt, One Road? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked and enjoyed this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more insightful videos, get notified by clicking the bell button below. From the high-end stories of today, this is Modern Luxury.